Hey everyone, I'm here with the second person voted off of Survivor NCSU season two, Lee. Lee, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah. Can you talk about like your experience with this season, coming back for a second time? Like how are you feeling now that you've seen the episode?
I'm glad it's over. I'm glad I got voted out early so I don't have to watch myself anymore. And I get to see people who it's like their first time playing actually get to play and have fun.
Do you think the second time around was a lot harder than the first time, or
Yes.
like what do
Yes.
you like? What specifically do you talk about some of the differences between for you?
People like came to play. It was immediately they were just like I don't know, the vibe was completely different. Season 1, it was just like we were all just a bunch of dudes in a park, playing pretend. And season 2, it was they were playing for real. Um, yeah.
Yeah, obviously I was filming and I definitely see like a higher level of gameplay. Like, were you expecting that coming in, or did you expect it to kind of be similar to season one?
Well, I didn't expect to be coming in, so I didn't have any time to like prepare. And this is one of those things that you need like a game plan going in, and I didn't have a game plan because I didn't know I was gonna be playing again, which is partially why I did so bad. And also, like season 1, I was just like more there to have fun. I wasn't taking it as seriously, and so I kind of looked really stupid. And so season 2, I come back and I was like, okay, I want to try and make myself not look like an idiot because now everyone thinks I'm an idiot, and it's like this persona that's kind of followed me.
Yeah, that's kind of a question I want to talk to you. I want to talk about the first part of your answer. Like, can you talk a little bit about your involvement of for playing season two? Because I know it was kind of a last minute decision for you to play. Can you kind of give us a little bit of behind the scenes of how that happened?
Yeah, so I was supposed to just like help with production. And then two people like didn't show up and we needed to start and they like weren't responding. We were like, okay, they're just not coming. So then we needed two people to be added into the game. And so that's why me and Jacob were added. Um, because they had everything like planned out for the certain number of people. And since two people were missing, they needed two more. And so that's why four people came back instead of just two. And I know Jacob was really excited to be back. I know he really wanted to be back. So I'm glad he got to come back. And I'm glad Jake and Jameson got to come back.
Yeah, however it turned out, glad you were on the season. I thought, you were definitely someone from season one who I wanted to return. You said like kind of talking a little bit about like you not wanting to seem stupid. You obviously knew the tribes go like obviously since you knew a little bit of the production, you knew the tribes going in, and then when you were part of this cast, you were put on the STEM tribe. And do you think that kind of like hurt you with your perception that you had in season one, or like talk about that tribe as a whole and like how you fit into it?
I think it's interesting because I am a double major in biology and biochem with a concentration in biotech. So I'm
Mhm.
not stupid, but when I was put on the STEM tribe, like half the people in production were like, "Oh, did we just like throw you on there because we need another person?" I was like, "No, I'm on there because I'm in STEM." You know, I put the S in STEM, science.
Yeah,
I was
I think it worked out because I'm pretty sure Jacob's also like
Jacob
humanities, so
political
yeah.
something.
Well, talking a little bit about what happened in the episode, we kind of start the episode and we see a little bit of the aftermath of the Maggie tribal council, and we see you confront Jameson on the way back to camp because you were unfortunately left out of the vote and in the minority. And you give a really good confessional where you say that you forgive him, but you won't forget it. Can you give a little bit more about like your thoughts of Jameson and that whole situation and how it transpired?
Honestly, now it's like really funny, but at the time I was so pissed off. I was like, just like tell me, you know? But Jameson's my best friend, and so I was really mad afterwards, especially after I got voted out. I threatened to shave his cat but I didn't because I love his cat. I would shave Jameson before I shaved his cat. But yeah, Jameson's my best friend. And now, like watching it, everything makes sense as to why the vote went the way it did. Because I was just like, I don't really understand, but sometimes you just need time to realize, and step back and be like, oh, that makes sense now. I understand why they did that.
Do you think that if he would have roped you in the first boat and kind of like integrated you with that core alliance, do you think that you could have had a better shot at surviving the second tribal council, or do you think
Probably
that just
not. Honestly,
yeah?
I'm so not good at the challenges. Like, I love puzzles. I'm great at puzzles. Everything else is just like, oh no. And so that second challenge scene, there was no puzzle. I was like, oh no. Especially with the STEM tribe, because it's like everyone on there is gonna be like, oh, I can do puzzles. But it's like, bro, I got puzzles in the bag, and that's about it. And so if everyone on there can do puzzles and we're losing challenges and there's no puzzles, obviously vote me off. And I was like telling everyone everyone's business. For some reason, I was like, "OMG, did you hear? Like, Survivor is not Gossip Girl. I need to keep my mouth shut."
Yeah, I mean, can you talk a little bit more about your relationship with Jameson? Because I think, I mean, obviously, I interviewed Maggie last week, and she had a lot to say about Jameson. And I see, obviously, he was a big player in season one, and in season two, it seems like he's shaping up to be a big player season two. Like, how do you think that like your relationship with Jameson going into the game kind of is going to affect the rest of the season? With like spoilers
Yes.
not in mind.
Well, I mean, we are friends, and like it was everyone there kind of knew we were friends, and it was obvious because like we hang out all the time. Um, so I'm very thankful for season one that I got to meet all these people, especially Jameson, because we're besties, and we're gonna do a Survivor costume together for Halloween. So stay tuned for that. I wonder who he's gonna be.
Who knows?
Parv.
Parvati,
Yeah.
are you going to be probes?
No, I'm gonna be Natalie from
Natalie?
Micronesia.
Talk to him about how he does in bed.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much, yeah,
I
typical
think that
conversation.
sums up your relationship pretty well.
Yeah. But at camp it was really funny because we have like this banter that we do. Like I don't know, we just banter back and forth, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, like what?" And I was like, "No, that's just how we talk to each other. Like we actually are like, this is how we communicate." It doesn't really make sense if you're not us. You'll catch about like 50% of what we're saying, and the other 50% is just like gasps and saying, "Oh my."
Oh my.
But the "oh my" is like you can decode them because like "oh my" isn't bad. It's just like "oh," but "oh my Lanta," that's like horrible.
So there's some levels of it.
Yes, there's levels.
Mhm.
Yes. And so
And then
not
like,
everyone speaks Jameson.
did you like? Was there any ever thought of like throwing Jameson on the bus? Because I feel like that's just from my perspective. I feel like he's a bigger target than you. So like, was there any ever kind of initiative from you to be like, hey, maybe we should get rid of Jameson and you can kind of survive just maybe one more vote?
No, because I knew he was a bigger target than me. So I knew if he was around, then I would be like, oh my gosh, guys, how do we let Jameson get this far? Little old me, I don't do anything. But Jameson, that guy, he's doing computer science and knows how to do math and also is very social and keeps his mouth shut better than me.
Hmm.
Cause yeah, I don't know. I think because I had friends in the game, I was like more comfortable telling people stuff, which
Hmm.
is not good. Cause in Survivor, you need to keep secrets. You need to keep your mouth shut. Cause knowledge is power. But if everyone knows, the knowledge doesn't have power. But the knowledge of who told you also has power. And since I was the person telling everyone everyone's business, then it was like, oh, we got to get Lee out of here. And I was completely like, yeah, we got to get me out of here.
Like talking about that, like I don't think we specifically see it in the episode itself, but we kind of can deduce that like Jay was the one to tell you initially about their legacy advantage, and you were kind of the one to spread that out against like around the STEM tribe. Like,
Yeah.
was that like a decision that just that's just how you are, and like you just tell people's business, or like was there some sort of strategy about was there
You're coming from you. The
strategy?
call is coming from inside the house.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a one-way interview. um, was there like any actual strategy to like telling that? Like, did you think that you could use that to your advantage? That like maybe that like was there any advantage to that? Basically, yeah.
My thing is just like season one, there was so much that I didn't know,
Hmm.
and I felt like had I actually known about like the Dodgeball Alliance and just had I just known better about people's connections, then I would have done better. And with season two, I needed I had the ability to make those connections. People were telling me stuff and I was just like immediately like interesting, interesting. Let me go tell someone else because in season one, if you told me something, I was like, oh, okay, word, like we're on the same team. But I sometimes forget that sharing other people's business will get people mad at you. And so that's a lesson I took with me into real life that I keep my friggin' mouth shut.
I mean, it's a good lesson that I
And
don't
that's where
think
it
I've
should.
learned yet. But yeah, but like at what point, like in that kind of round, did you kind of feel like you were the one that was getting votes?
I
Like,
literally
was
didn't know.
you didn't know?
I knew that my name was out there because Jameson was like trying to like hint at me. He was like, if you have the idol, you need to play it.
Hmm.
You know, and he was like, you should try and get Jay to play their advantage for you. And I was like, it doesn't work like that. And so Jameson was trying to save me. And so I appreciate that. And I understand why he voted me out because you don't want to like be an outlier with the vote. You know, you just
Yeah.
go with the numbers, especially if there's no way you don't want like a 6-2 split. Because then it's like, oh, kind of obvious who's next. And so that was smart of him to preserve his gameplay with getting with having to vote me out because probably the best thing he could have done was vote me out because anything he told me, like everything I was told, I was going to tell him, right? Which, okay, that's great. But then I'm also telling everyone else. And then he's aligned with me. And so now everyone knows that I'm sharing their business. So I will get him next time.
Next
Remember
time,
your piece of
will there be a
discussion?
next time for you, Lee,
On the real show, on Survivor.
on the real show? Hmm.
Yeah.
Have you applied?
Yes.
Any callbacks? Any messages from Jeff
No.
himself?
No. I made a joke about how he got Botox in it, and they didn't, and then they didn't call me back. So I'll try again. I'll apply again, but I do want to go on the Amazing Race with Jameson, so that's on our to-do list for
Before or
sure.
after you go on Survivor?
Either one, honestly. I would say probably like after, because it seems like people go on the Amazing Race like after they go on TV shows. But I'm also would marry Jameson if it meant we could go on like a Blood versus Water season for Survivor, or if
Hmm.
they like needed a gay couple for the Amazing Race. I'd be like, oh my god, that's my husband. I love him so much. Yes, you know.
Would we see you doing Big Brother, stuck in a house for 100 days?
No, God, no. Oh my God. If it was by myself for 100 days, absolutely easy peasy. I love being alone.
The
If it other
circle.
people, no, because they're gonna be like, hey, it's been 5 days, you haven't showered yet. And I'm gonna be like, uh-huh, leave me alone. I'm here for my money. Leave me alone.
Well, like hopefully that pans out for you.
Yes. Hopefully Big
um,
Brother's not like, ooh, we want this one.
I don't know. You never know. Like Suri's now on Big Brother, so maybe you'll be the first to do all three.
Bro, she's so funny. She's so over their shit. That's my problem is like Survivor, it's like a month, but Big Brother, I would be like, okay, I can't pretend to like these people
There's
anymore.
still like another month of the show left. It's
Yeah.
something I did want to ask you because obviously College Survivor, obviously limitations to what we can film. We focused a lot about your relationship with Jameson, and I know that you were close with Maggie. But who else were you kind of close with? And like, talk about some of the other cast dynamics for you on season two.
I did know Nikki because we had hung out like as a group together, and so I really wanted to just get to know Nikki because she's literally the coolest person I've ever met. And so I didn't get to play with her, which sucks. But now she's like in the Survivor gang, so we get to whenever we do Survivor stuff, she's always there, which is awesome. She also lives in Greensboro, like she's from Greensboro, so she came to my house once. That was neat. I also had a final two with Jake and with Jacob. I was like setting myself up. I was probably gonna take I don't know, I was probably not gonna make final 2, let's be honest. But I did know
Um,
Maggie because we went to the club once, but Maggie doesn't like going to the club, so I was like, "Oh, rats." But we all, like, do Survivor stuff and hang out. So, I had connections, but I think going into the game with connections is actually, like, more harmful than it is good because it puts a target on your back, but it also makes you more comfortable, and with Survivor, you need to always be on edge, you need to be paranoid. The problem is I wasn't paranoid. I was like, "Oh, I've played before, like, I've got this, I know what's going on, I know everything that's going on." But no, it's like you need to be paranoid, you need to think that everyone is coming for you because there's a good chance that everyone is.
that's interesting because in season one, I think I was too paranoid. I thought everyone was coming to me. I thought I was the vote every single round. I mean, granted, I wasn't. I didn't last that long, but yeah. Um,
There's, like, a good mix of, like, paranoia and maybe I just need to be more like Kyle and just sit there and listen.
yeah, listening. I think listening's good.
Yeah. I need to put my listening ears on.
So yeah, like, was your plan if you made the merge or if a possible swap was your plan to kind of link up with Jake and Jacob? I know there was a confessional by Jacob where he does kind of if anyone votes Lee out, then they're on his list. So I think he has a
Yeah.
lot of people on his list right now.
Yeah, he's got a whole tribe on the list.
Yeah.
No, I was definitely gonna link up with Jake and Jacob and Jameson. Like we kind of it was like an unspoken thing that it was like if we all make the merge, like we need to stick together because everyone's playing to win and we're also playing to win. Just because we're back doesn't mean we don't want to win. And so my thing is I was like, okay, final four with them, but I was also like, I don't know if I can beat any of them. But then I was just also like, I would have a great weekend playing with my buddies and then getting Final Four with them. So it was sort of just like a take it as it goes. And then I was second out, so I didn't even have to worry about that.
Mm. Well, yeah. I mean, first you're turning out, but at least you don't have to stay all the way to jury.
Yes, because I did not live in Raleigh, so that would have been weird.
Yeah. Like, what are your overall thoughts on the cast? I mean, I guess
The cast
obviously after
is
everything's
so
aired, but just kind of
fun.
anyone specifically want to talk about?
Quinn, he's my favorite now. I feel so bad that I tried to vote him out literally forever. Um, Sorry, Quinn.
Was that just because you guys didn't initially click, or was there a
It
specific
was
reason?
literally, I was just like, I need to pick someone,
Mhm.
and I wasn't gonna pick Maggie, and I wasn't gonna pick Ryder, and then I wasn't gonna pick Jameson, and then Jameson had Aziza, and then Caleb kind of was like our muscle. Um, Look, in that
Sorry.
tribe, it was really like. Um,
STEM
and
tribe.
so I was just like, okay, like by default, it's got to be Quinn, and then it was like, and I like felt bad because I was like, oh my god, like this guy, I don't know, like I like him. And then we were hanging out at Chili's the other night, and Quinn is actually so interesting. And so I'm actually glad that I got voted out, so that way it took the target off Quinn's back, and he got to play a fun game because he also helped a lot with season 3 production. And so knowing that he got to like play Survivor and like have fun, and then he's coming back to help with production, I'm like, thank God he didn't get voted out early, or he would have hated all of us.
I mean, yeah, good. It's a good way to look at it if you're voted out early. Season one or season two, like which did you prefer? Like
Season 1.
season one, just
Season
in
1
general.
easy. Yeah. I think it was just like really it was just like a lot more relaxed, a lot more chill because there was 3 people on production, there was 10 people playing, and it was just like afterwards it was really easy to hang out all of us because of how much smaller group is and we're all pretty tight knit now, and also like only half of the people in season 1 voted for me to leave. So, it's easier to look at them. Jameson voted
Mhm.
for me twice. I told that to Sandra Diaz Twine, and she was like, oh,
Oh, you did.
I
I was
did.
there.
Yeah,
She was mad for you.
I know. And I
He's like,
really,
you're still friends with
I
him? I don't know.
was like, yeah, I'm
Crazy.
my best friend, actually.
Yeah. She can
Survivor.
never. So just basically, I'm gonna tell you everyone's name from both humanities and STEM tribe, and just give me the first phrase, word, expletive that comes to your mind. Got it?
Hmm.
Okay. Quinn,
Yellow.
Maggie,
Birkenstocks.
Jacob,
Politics.
Nikki,
Queen.
Jay,
Internet.
Aziza,
Green.
Ryder,
King.
Sean,
Kyle.
Anna,
Queen. Oh, I love her.
Mark,
A guy.
Jake,
A guy, but like in a good way.
Lindsay,
A girl. I didn't really know her.
Caleb,
Sheets.
Jameson,
Snake.
Snake. That's twice in
King
a row.
Snake.
Twice in a row. Jameson Snake lives on. That was fun.
Is that what Maggie said?
She said Snake too.
LOL.
Did you not watch the interview?
No, look, I've been so busy this week. But I watched the episode and then I was like, oh wow. My hair looked so good.
Season 2?
Mm-hmm.
It did. And I did have a last minute question come in from Ryder. He wants to know about Morbius. Like, what was that all about?
So at Tribal, we were like whispering to each other, and then everyone started kind of like eavesdropping because I was trying to figure out who he was voting for. And he whispers to me, he goes, "Did you vote for me?" And I said, "Yes," because I didn't hear what he said. I thought he said, "Are you?" I don't even know like what I thought he said. I thought he was like, "Are you voting for Quinn?" I was like, "Yes." And so then he was like, "What?" And he started like whispering aggressively at me. And then Jay started paying attention. And I was like, "Yeah, no, like Morbius," because I wanted to like throw him off. And I was like, the most random thing I could think of. And so then that was like tribal council. And I was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is how my final tribal went. But also, it's so on brand for me.
Your last words are just Morbius before
Yeah,
we
it's
get it
Morbius
out.
time.
They want to know about Simon.
He's doing so good. He is shedding right now. So I can't breathe. And there's so much fluff around my house. I got him a Halloween costume. I'll show it to you.
Simon Halloween costume.
He's gonna be a hot dog.
And for those who don't know, who is Simon?
Simon's my roommate.
Yeah, he's gonna fit in that little tiny hot dog.
Yeah, he's my bunny. He actually does have his own room in my house, though.
He was featured in like the first Survivor NCSU video
Mm-hmm.
cameo.
Yeah, he doesn't really do much, but he's doing good. You know, he's perfect. I love him so much. This morning, he like woke me up to the sound of him eating lettuce very aggressively. But I was just like, yeah, get your vegetables in.
Love Nelson. Love him. Why you
Literally,
don't like yellow?
literally, I don't know.
You don't like yellow? Me neither.
I just don't like the color yellow. It's
I don't either.
maybe I'm just like not a happy person, but I see it and it just like hurts my eyes.
No, yellow's my least favorite color actually
Yeah.
too.
I'm like, it's the color of piss. Okay, it's my least favorite color of Gatorade. I don't like lemons that much. You know, they make my tummy hurt. I get acid reflux. I don't like mustard. I don't really like anything that's yellow. And you think yellow, you think like, oh, summer, outside. I hate being outside. I hate the summer. I hate nature. I want to be inside.
But you
But
want
if
to
this
be on
is the
Survivor
but if this is the
for
Survivor
26
casting
days?
team, I love the color yellow and being outside so much. It's my favorite color and place to be. Go Fiji.
If and when you are casted on Survivor, you'll be
Yes.
put on the yellow tribe.
I am actually very scared that's gonna happen. Yellow is not a good color for me.
You'll be branded as like the yellow tribe, like the yellow tribe spokesperson.
That's literally not funny. Because now
It's
it's gonna happen because you said it.
no, it's gonna happen because actually, yeah.
Yeah. Because you're like a prophet.
No, I actually have really bad juju. Like bad things happen to me.
What were you on the yellow tribe?
No, I was just like, I don't know, just bad things happen.
Bad luck.
Yeah.